All right, good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the great YSS, today we thank God for this opportunity to be here, all of us. And we hope and pray that the others are on their way. Our school needs help. And we are the ones who can start this help. We've been talking about YSS for a long time. Today, we are meeting to discuss how best we can move this school forward. As you can see on the agenda, my name is Sapombo. Can we please all announce our names? Let everybody please just call your name. Sapombo.
Yeah, Safasuluku.
Yeah, Moses Mokri.
Fatma
Jamiro.
David Bongo.
Sir Joseph Komba Maturi.
Fatma Sheku.
Sir Kemo.
Like I said, my name is Sapombo. My job now today is for continue for facilitate this meeting. We pray that God will help we resolve our issues and bring YSS back to where it belongs. Sometime in November of last year, I took upon myself the responsibility for pool, because we've not meet for a long time, but we're not going to get no results. The forum be a little bit noisy and, on my get passion, but we will not be organized. So I took upon myself a responsibility for pull together a team of people where they show up at every meeting. We really didn't get time by their hand. And we sat together, we begin to develop a strategy. The first thing we do, we break up we set up 7 groups. As I can not read them, we set up 7 groups. For now, we find a way for get concrete information about the school and what it will cost us for fix each area, and how much it costs us for fix the whole school, and then how we could do it. So we pull together this team. We don't work very hard. We don't develop these 7 groups. We get to continue for doing work. Then we develop a document we'll call the reconstruction or documents for bring YSS together. So we are here today for present to una the work we don't do and the recommendations that will bring come forward. I don't want to waste too much time. This now we just present what we've done. We've done it because we want to make it easy for all of us. For now, get together, for now we work hard, because now the work they start to begin, the real work. What we don't do now just information now gather. Now we don't bring come to now. We get 7 areas that we're gonna go see today. Teaching and learning, classroom readiness, security, teacher accommodation, water and sanitation, and I think we have energy. So I pass this now on to Mr. Safasuku. We input this document together. So we also have fundraising as a 77 group. Together this document, let it explain the document to una, and then hopefully, when I all go understand, would I get questions later on, we'll get to that part. So thank you very much for coming. May God bless you now. Mr. Fasuku, I'll pass it on to you now, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
So welcome everybody, welcome, and it's good to see some new faces as well. I'm very happy for that, and I hope we can take this thing forward. We've basically, as Sapombo has said, we've come together as a coalition of independent organizations, YOSA organizations, and independent alumni as well. We've been Zoom meeting across the miles during this pandemic, and it's been very productive, I think. There is a history which goes back. I won't go into recap, but you can always look on the website and you can see past history where we've been before. But this is mostly about where we are, what we've done over the last year or few months, and where we're headed. One of the wonderful things that has changed, of course, is that we now have a new spirit of cooperation and collaboration with the school, and that's made a lot of things possible. So I'm just going to briefly give you an overview of where we've reached. And basically, you know, we're kind of asking for your approval, and we're asking for those of you who have not been part of the process to become part of the process, because I think it's a very exciting time and there's going to be a few things happening. Some things have already started to happen. So let me just share my screen. Yeah, here we go. So basically, as I've already said, you know, we are a coalition. So that is a loose conglomeration of different organizations, friends of the school, partners, local councillors, even the Diocese of Kenema has been cooperating, and including the school's administration, ex-teachers and current teachers. So as Sapombo just introduced, we did have quite a big problem with a YSS. There is quite a lot to do in the school. It's been very difficult to actually cram everything into single meetings. So what we've done is we've decided to split up into working groups. Now, just to give you a little bit of current history, Eddie Finnegan, who is one of the founding teachers in YSS, he worked under Mr. Barry. He was head of English and vice principal, and he taught at YSS between 1964 and 1974. He has issued a $100 challenge to many thousands of YSS alumni who've gone through the school. And basically what he said is if every alumnus contributed just $100, this would be enough to sustainably renovate and run YSS at the highest standards, and to give a future to our graduates for many years to come, which would be restoring its status as one of the best schools in Sierra Leone. So following on from 2014 and 2016, when the Finnegan Family Fund helped to fund the library and science lab projects, Eddie and Irish teachers have already contributed $10,000 towards the Teaching and Learning Restricted Fund, which they have given to the school. Lance and Amara has pledged $10,000 towards water, sanitation and hygiene, or WASH, as a restricted fund specifically for that purpose. YOSA alumni have raised $2,000 in unrestricted funds, and Sierra Leone YOSA have raised about $1,800, or that's what they have currently, I think, in the bank account. Other alumni have made in-kind contributions, including things like printer, water pump, generator, etc., etc. As I said, everything needs to be done. The job is very large, and so we've split it into these headings, which you can see here: teaching and learning, classroom readiness, security and safeguarding, teachers' accommodation, water, sanitation and hygiene, electricity supply, and fundraising and partnerships. Now, I'll give an opportunity later for some of the lead persons on the working groups to answer questions on their group's activities. But for now, I'll just give a brief overview. Please note that the amounts you might see may vary as we get more concrete estimates from contractors and suppliers. The lead persons for the working groups are also subject to change depending on their availability. We work collaboratively and things change. People are available from time to time in different times. But the good thing is, one of the advantages of working as a coalition is that we maintain a wide range of expertise and human resources. So that's a big advantage for us. So with regards to teaching and learning, I've already put out on the WhatsApp, you may have read the proposed program document. It's just a brief handout to hand to people who might be interested in becoming donors or becoming partners or assisting. So you may have already seen that on the WhatsApp. So a lot of what you see, what you hear now may be familiar, but this is for those who haven't been with us to bring them up to speed. The single most important purpose of every school is excellent learning and attainment. And our flagship project will boost skills and quality of teaching and learning by hiring an extra 5 highly skilled teachers for regular inset to in-service training, to demonstrate outstanding teaching practices, upgrade systems for full curriculum delivery, improve assessment, and introduce daily after-school remedial classes in English and maths. Our initial fact findings show that we would need a budget of approximately $40,000 to raise the levels of teaching and learning at the school considerably. Now, these budget figures are estimates and they're subject to change, as I've said. The good thing is, as I've already mentioned before, Eddie Finnegan and Irish YSS teachers have recently donated $10,000 in restricted funds directly to the school for this specific purpose. I am the lead person on that group at the moment. That might be subject to change, as I said, if somebody more qualified comes along who has more teaching expertise. The second working group that we have established is for classroom readiness. This is because the usual wear and tear in schools means most classes will need new desks and chairs, renovated blackboards, window and door repairs. The library furniture would probably need to be repaired. I know this for a fact in some cases. And also roofs and ceilings and staff rooms need repairs. Books and IT and internet need replacing. And we also need other things like printers and so on. Elizabeth Ganda has already donated a small printer, though we will need a larger one to do larger jobs like printing exam papers and so on. YOSA will work from class to class in stages until the whole school is fit for purpose. Then we have security and safeguarding. With regards to this, this comes into two categories. One is basically looking after the assets of the school, and two, looking after the students in the school. These have been real problems in the school up until now, and for many years, with assets either being broken or going missing, and with female students especially being taken advantage of and exploited. And we cannot have an ethical school, an ethical environment where students have equal opportunities if we don't pay attention to this. It's the elephant in the room, which many people don't pay attention to. So some of the things that we want to do is introduce safeguarding training and enforcement, which means that we will have a zero tolerance policy, or ask the school to have a zero tolerance policy and enforce any bad behavior on those grounds. We'll also be looking at financial asset management and accountability systems, introducing those so that we have proper paper trails for the things that are the assets that are put into the school, that money that is being invested, and also having security systems and boundary repairs so that it's harder to make incursions into the school. We also need to introduce policies, as I said, with zero tolerance and enforcement to protect our girls. Regarding water, sanitation, and hygiene, there are wash points at the school, which you can see from this map, which have been kindly mapped for us by ex-Peace Corps Matt Flanagan during his time at YSS. The map is available on Google Maps with labels indicating the condition of the individual wash points. It's a few years old, so it will have changed slightly. Matt documented the wash needs of the school and highlighted technical issues. And we've been very lucky to have a wash expert, Sakemo, who I think is on the meeting today, who works in this sector, to take over the lead on our wash working group. Water and sanitation is vital for healthy students, for girls' dignity and safety, and to ensure girls can attend school. At present, toilets are dysfunctional because of lack of water and poor maintenance. Alumni have donated pumps, and a full 5-year life cycle costed school wash project is in the technical planning stage. We estimate a budget of around $40,000 will be needed for sustainable wash based on a norm of about $10 capital costs per child and around $1.50 per year per child for ongoing operations and maintenance. This is a rule of thumb, I think, which is used in several countries. We have already had a pledge of $10,000, as I've said, from Mr. Mara, which he's waiting to transfer to us when we are ready to proceed. Teachers' accommodation. As you can see, I don't know if you can see this picture here, but it shows the dismal state of our teachers' accommodation in the compound. This is just one area of the compound where the teachers live. You wouldn't believe it's actually part of our school. If we're going to attract better teachers, we're going to need to have better accommodation to welcome them. And very little renovation has been done over the past however many years. So the quarters are seriously dilapidated. On top of that, teachers are not taking responsibility, I think, for maintenance of their accommodations. I think they're looking to the school, which I think is probably a mistake and is not very sustainable. So it's our aim to ensure each teacher's quarter has windows, a bed, chair, desk, secure door, and electricity, as well as decent toilets in their compound. Estimates vary depending on contractors and materials. However, we believe that $30,000 will bring all accommodations up to a minimum standard. We also intend for teachers to pay for ongoing maintenance of their quarters to ensure cost recovery and to avoid them becoming dilapidated once again. Once renovated, they should be handed back in a good condition. The principal is taking the lead on this working group. Regarding the next working group, which is, I think this is the last one, the second to last one now, which is electricity supply. Our ultimate goal is that YSS should be a 40 to 60 kilowatt solar powered clean energy school. We have ample sunlight, which is free energy. However, the initial capital costs could go up to as high as 110,000 UK pounds for the whole school, including workshops, boarding home, IT, school, teachers' accommodation, and water pumps. We're talking about a future-proofed plan. So at this point in time, obviously, we are not in a position to do that. So in the short term, we are already starting construction plans on a powerhouse for a 10 kilowatt generator, which we have received on loan from a YSS alumnus. Electricity is essential for computers, water pumps, as I've mentioned, lighting for after-school studies, teachers' quarters, and so on. And then finally, the final working group that we've established is fundraising and partnerships. Now, some might say that this, at this point in time, is probably our most important and at least our most urgent group. Mainly because, of course, we need the funds to pay for all of this. Some of the funds, as I've already mentioned, have already come in or have been beginning to come in significant amounts. Others still need to come in. The following are some of the suggestions we've received for fundraising. One is to launch the $100 Eddie Finnegan challenge to all the thousands of graduates of YSS since 1964. We want to launch this challenge on our website, on Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. We have platforms on all of those. And also personally and face-to-face and by networking. We're waiting for this. While we're waiting for this to roll out, we'd also like to have something to show people in the way of projects that we're already starting. I'll come to timeline in a second. Secondly, approaching high-earning alumni for larger donations. As you can see, some of our alumni and ex-teachers are willing to pay and give much more, and start a program of fundraising events, which, you know, this is where I hand over now to the meeting so that we can actually discuss this in more detail and how we're going to actually fundraise and put on events. And then number three, finally, is to approach the donors in the education sector, the WASH sector, the gender sector, agriculture sector, and sustainable development sectors to form delivery partnerships or to advocate to them so that they will make direct interventions. This has happened in the past. We managed to get solar power at a very small scale, which was supplying one of the blocks in the school until it was vandalized. But the fact is that some of these projects may require larger donor assistance. The assistance can be there. We just need to show that we're competent to deliver. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. I don't need to say any more. And I think a lot of us are now chafing to get started. We've been at this now for a few months. I've been at it for quite a few years. So I'm a bit more patient, but I'm still impatient. Regarding timelines, basically these are suggested, and I think there's no reason why we can't start on all of the different working groups. We've already been doing the groundwork. We can start with the teaching and learning immediately using the Finnegan funds and divide that into phases. We can have an immediate start on classroom readiness using current funds on a small scale and divide that into phases. Security and safeguarding, again, immediate start, especially in terms of putting together safeguarding systems and policies and agreeing them with the school. So then WASH, again, we have already got some money in the kitty for that, promised. And it's just a question of whether or not we are ready to get started. We've been doing some technical work in the background, and that more can be explained by the individual working groups. But yes, I think we can be getting started on that. We're already ready to go with the powerhouse. And again, using existing funds, we can do that, at least for this first phase. So thank you very much. For your attention and for your support. And I think the students of YSS will probably give you the greatest thanks.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Mr. Pasuku, for that presentation. We want to go now to the different working groups.